If you are a family who has a fatal diagnosis, terminal diagnosis, or any sort of diagnosis that's causing a lot of shock right now, these are the 5 tips that we have to do immediately after getting diagnosed, or if you have a major life event that is causing some turmoil or grief or anything like that. We're specific with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, so these tips, what I'm about to talk about, is going to be geared towards DMD specifically, but I do feel like this is a very broad step-by-step process for anyone that is going through that initial shock or grief of a diagnosis, a death, etc. I hope this can be very helpful for those families out there, or the parents like us who have a child that just got diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is a terminal illness. We have 2, so we are going through a shock of grieving both our boys as we go through this process. So number 1 is process and grieve. Why do this first? I believe, based on our experience, it's crucial to process and grieve for as long as you need. There's no timetable. It allows you to come to terms and acknowledge the reality of your situation, confront your emotions, unfortunately, and accept the loss of the future you pictured for your family that has now completely changed and shattered. And it will ultimately lead you to a more peaceful acceptance by processing and grieving. So in our case, as a Bafis family, our diagnosis led us to God in prayer, which allowed our hearts to trust and accept and feel more hopeful. So if you're someone who is grieving a terminal diagnosis like we are and feel lost and confused, turning to faith, meditation, or prayer will lead you to trust that there is a purpose for this situation and will slowly help you get through the pain and suffering each day. You'll start to feel a sense of peace and hope for the future. Try to lean on your spouse, family, and friends and not isolate. In the first few months after receiving a terminal diagnosis, like Duchenne in our case, it's very, very easy to isolate into depression because you feel like you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, or you feel like you're in this dark fog that you can't get out of. So seek help if you need to. Brian and I, shortly after diagnosis, went to marriage therapy. We joined a trauma class. It was a 12-week course that really helped our grief. It was extremely helpful to get out of that denial phase and look towards that acknowledgement and acceptance. So at the end of the day, mental health awareness is going to be so important for you and your family during this time, especially for your child who just received this diagnosis. They need your emotional support, and they will need to see your strength, and they need to look up to you. So think about these oxygen masks on the airplane. So, on the airplane, they instruct you to put on your own oxygen mask before your child's. Why do they do that? Because if you run out of oxygen yourself, you can't help anyone else with theirs. It's just going to be so important to make sure you keep yourself as healthy mentally and physically as possible so that you can get through these very, very hard days for the kids or for the loved one that you are needing to show that strength for. Number 2 is going to be to start educating yourself and learn about the diagnosis. So once you've taken as much time as you need mentally to process, grieve, start educating yourself and learn about the disease, because knowledge can feel more empowering in these difficult situations. The more you know, gaining information, exploring care, treatment options, and learning what treatments could really possibly benefit or come out in the future always allow for it. It just allows for this peace of mind to make a plan for the future. So learn as much as you can, because knowledge is power. You will feel more confident making medical decisions for your children the more you know. So that's the best thing I can advise you on. Number 2, knowledge is power. Google, start educating yourself, start asking questions, reach out to those doctors, etc. So just gather as much information as you can. Again, this part can be very hard. just because you're learning about something you don't want to be learning. You're learning about something that's affecting your loved one or your child. So it's hard, but you'll get to the point after grieving and accepting that you will have the confidence to kind of get into the information, start learning, start educating yourself. You'll just feel more confident. You'll have a better sense, a better picture of what your current situation is and how to move forward from there. So educate yourself. Knowledge is power. So number 3 is going to start building your care team. Why do you need a care team? A care team is crucial for managing Duchenne simply because it's a progressive disease and it affects multiple body systems. So DMD requires a multidisciplinary approach with specialists from various fields like, this could be a long list, like neurology, cardiology, pulmonology, psychology, rehab, OT, PT, endocrinology, nutritionist, social worker, dietitian, etc. All those people are going to be in your care team. So it's optimal treatment and support for both the boys with DMD and their families. So PPMD has a search engine to look up Duchenne certified centers, so you can look up a location closest to you. Once you choose the best location, have your PCP, your primary care provider, send a referral after a confirmed diagnosis. So once that confirmation's in there, you're going to start looking at what children's hospitals are going to be the best fit for you. In our case, it's Seattle Children's. It's super close to us. It's only a 4-hour drive, so it's going to be really important in our case of DMD that you look up certified neuromuscular Duchenne clinics. They're all over the nation. Figure out how long you want to travel, how often you want to go, and once you pick your location, just have your primary care provider send that referral in, and you can get that ball rolling, getting on the waiting list, or make your first appointment. So that's what we did. We chose Seattle Children's since it's the closest to us, and we travel there once a year, and we get to see all of those specialists I just listed in one day. So that really helps with their care when it's someone specific, a team that's specific for your disease. So travel might be part of it, but it's going to be very, 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 very important that you have all of these specialists involved. Your baseline labs, your baseline tests all done, your evaluations, and then you can slowly work with that care team moving forward as this disease progresses. Number 4 is also very important, and that's to join the community. Having a community after a Duchenne diagnosis is crucial because it provides emotional support, access to shared knowledge, experiences, a sense of belonging. It can help families navigate the challenges of living with the disease by connecting with them, with others who understand the unique difficulties and complexities of Duchenne muscular dystrophy, offering insights, coping strategies that might not be available elsewhere if you didn't join the community. Connecting with others who understand the physical and emotional challenges of DMD can be helpful to reduce feelings of isolation, provide a space to share anxieties, frustrations, fears, having a sense of belonging. Communities and events can act as a source of knowledge about the latest research, treatment options, what are the best practices managing for DMD, allowing families to stay informed and make informed decisions. This is what we have done and strive for with our YouTube channel as our way of joining the community, as a source to ask questions, start the conversation, connect. We don't have anyone physically in our city that we really know with our particular disease, so we found an outlet to share our knowledge online with our channel, and that is our way to insert ourselves in the community as a way to hopefully help other families that are going through the same scenarios we are. So that has been our helpful way to join the community. Uniting with your community can help with advocating for increased funding for research, improve access to care, policy changes that benefit people with DMD. Being a part of that, being a part of advocating is going to make you feel a sense of purpose for this disease, and a sense of belonging and something to strive for, something to look for. Sharing experiences for managing daily activities, accessing equipment, navigating healthcare systems, all can be invaluable for families dealing with DMD. Number 5, last but certainly not least, is going to be looking into your local state services and therapies. So now that you have a confirmed diagnosis and a care team in the works, it is important to start looking into what services are available to you and your kids. It's just going to be a weight off your shoulders. So start the process of Social Security, any state insurances that, if applicable, if eligible for these services, it can be it'd be a huge benefit for your family to relieve some of those financial stressors. So look into any organizations or charities that could benefit and help your family with insurance denials, travel expenses, equipment, any extra support that you may need. Reach out to these organizations for that help, and that's what they're there for, is to help you navigate what you need and how they can do to help you. If you need a list of organizations, I am happy to provide the ones that I know. So starting your IEP process, if your child is already in grade school, they will need to start that as well. If you don't know what IEP is, look it up. It's going to be super crucial for your kids going into school. Lastly, work with your primary care provider with any referrals that you may need. So when you're developing your care team's all specialists, you're going to need referrals to them. So any specific physicians, specialties, make sure those referrals are being sent on top of any therapy services needed, as in speech therapy, OT, PT. Make sure you're getting them evaluated, whatever delays that they may have that can help with maintaining their disease. Start looking into those services that could be free for you, free co-pays, etc. So start asking questions of what is available to you at no cost or out of pocket for any physical therapy, occupational therapy, schooling services, gym memberships, sports, psychology therapy, anything like that. All these things could be a free service to you if you go down the right avenues. It's not easy, but it is there. So again, I don't want to speak on all states. Every state's going to be different. So number 5 is strictly going to be just looking into your state services that are available for you. Start relieving those financial burdens. In our case, we have 2 boys with this disease, so I did resign from my job. So we're finding any other avenues we can do to supplement that income that we did lose, because diseases like this and genetic diseases are expensive. They're very, very expensive. So number 5 is going to be very important. All 5 steps are very important. And I feel, based on our experience with myself and my husband, that these were kind of the order that we took things that first initial year. So these are the 5 steps we took the first, I would say, 18 months after diagnosis. So this is very specific to our experience, but I do feel like it's very important to take these steps in order. That way you're not overwhelmed. You're not overwhelmed with grief. You're not overwhelmed with knowledge. You're not overwhelmed with all these things you need to do in the pipeline. It's hundreds of things that you need to do right away, which are very, 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 very difficult to do as you're grieving something. So that's why I say grieve for as long as you need. The rest is there for you, unfortunately, but it is there. And I hope this is a benefit for you. If there's any other tips and tricks that you want to provide other families, please comment below. Any tips that I didn't mention that could benefit our family, please comment below. I'm here for you. We have a support system. So if you're needing an outlet, if you needed a community, start with us. And we would be happy to walk through life with you. The last thing I am going to say is have faith. Have faith that this is happening for a reason. Your children are so special in God's eyes, and He is here to walk us through the pain and suffering. And I hope if you are drowning in that darkness, that you will find a way that we did to kind of find a little bit more light in your life, and something to be encouraged by and be hopeful for the future is going to be life-changing if you're someone that is needing a little bit of extra comfort and help. Pray about it. We prayed about it, and we pray about it every day, and there's good days, there's bad days, there's more bad days than good days in the beginning. So I'm going to leave you with this quote I wrote in my Bible the month my kids were diagnosed, and I saw it yesterday, and it was a great reminder for me, so much so that I wanted to share it, because during those first few months of grief, you black out, you don't remember what you're doing, and I am so glad I put this in my Bible as something to look back on and remind myself. So I will leave you with this. Faith does not take you out of the problem. It takes you through the problem. Faith does not always take away the pain. It gives you the ability to handle the pain. Faith doesn't always take you out of the storm. It calms you in the midst of the storm. I had to remind myself that this wasn't done to me. This wasn't my fault, and God isn't there to just fix your problem. He's there to get you through the problem, and that's something my husband and I really had to work through and have that aha moment of, wow, He's taking us through the problem. He gives us the ability to handle the pain. He calms us in the midst of the storm. So I hope that's helpful, and abide by that. We love you, and we pray for you, and you will get through it.